everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany Reacts show, and on this show we talk all things entertainment news and movie news. I know I haven't had a show in a while. I haven't had a show since Monday. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I do want to say hi to everyone who did make it today. Sorry, I know the schedule hasn't been as normal as you're used to, but how are you guys doing? Hi Scorpio Shadow, hi Left on Foria, hi Nicholas Wilson, hi Natanya. Hi, Josh. Hi, Astral. Hi, Connor. And thank you. Hi, Miss Olsen. Thank you to you guys for coming to my show every day. Your continued support is amazing, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So, I know I did say that this show was going to be at 2:30 today, but I finished what I was working on early, so I was like, why don't I just make the show at 1:30 since it's supposed to be at 1? I thought it'd be a little bit better for you guys. Hi Prototype, hi Prince, hi Pretty Princess, hi Francisco, hi Kitty Cat, hi Indominus Rex. We do have a lot to talk about, just to go over basically almost everything that came out this week. So we do have a good show. I'm just kind of waiting for a few more viewers to come into the show. I do want to say, just heads up, there are going to be some major changes to the channel coming in the next few weeks. So part of the reason why I haven't been uploading as much is because I've been busier in my personal life doing things and working. So I just haven't had as much time to devote to this channel. But also, I feel like, in general, I'm ready for a change. So I will be ramping down video content. I won't be putting out solo videos, especially starting in February. I won't be putting out solo videos anymore. I'll just be doing these live streams. And I will actually have to do a live stream on Sunday because I don't think I'll have a time to do it during the week. So we will be doing starting the first week of February. We will be doing live stream every Sunday. I don't know what time yet. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm thinking about 1 o'clock, but please let me know in the chat what time you guys would work for you. So just keep in mind we will be doing a show on Sundays. I think that'll be good because people will be off. They won't have work, so that might be nice. But I'm letting you guys know there will be less content coming out, and that is why. Everything is okay in my life. I really don't want you guys worried about me. Please do not worry for me. I am okay. I want to do something else that gets me... YouTube is a hard job. It's harder than it looks on the surface. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it doesn't always, especially now, with like YouTube's algorithm changing so much, like they're trying to focus on shorts and ad rates are down tremendously. It's really hard to like consistently keep out good content, especially when it's just me. I don't have any editors. I don't have a team. It's a lot of work doesn't always seem like a lot back. So that's why I'm making this change. Josh Loves Movie says, are we doing a live stream for the Super Bowl since that's on Sunday? You know what? I am so not into sports. I don't care at all about the Super Bowl. That's in February, right? So that's how little I know about it. Is that February 4th? You know what? Yeah. If you guys want to do a show on Super Bowl, I'll be here. I'm not watching the Super Bowl, but I will let you guys know because I know a lot of people do. I don't want to do a show and literally no one shows up. So I will do a poll about it, but I'm free on Super Bowl Sunday because I don't care about the Super Bowl. Thank you, Josh. Scorpio Shadow says, not surprised. Lately, a lot of famous YouTubers are leaving because of the YouTube policies. I know, Matt Pet. He just released his own video like a week ago. Love Matt Pet. I've even talked about him here on my channel. So that was pretty shocking. But yeah, YouTube is, it's a rough animal, a rough channel. A rough platform. People think it's so easy. Well, I don't know if everyone thinks it's so easy, but it's a lot more work goes into it than it seems. Prototype says, YouTube has been so weird for me lately. It has been recommending me videos with views in the single digits. Never did that before. You know what? I've had that too. I just thought maybe they're trying to promote smaller content, which I don't have a problem with. Josh Loves Movie says, I was just asking as there's a lot of huge movie trailers. Oh, that's right. You're asking if I'm going to cover the movie trailers? Oh yeah, definitely going to do that. Thank you for asking, Josh. Left One For You says, I blame the grind, but appreciate it when creators plan their quitting as it means they have priorities right now and knowing their limits. Yeah, it's definitely about knowing your limits, for sure. Any other questions? Nicholas, yeah, it is a shame. Burnout is so real. Natanya, it's good. Okay. I'm definitely going to keep a stream for you guys because I still want to talk about things, even just for fun. Like when Dune comes out, you best believe I'm making a video about that. Or a live stream, I mean. So, anyway, I think more people are here now. I guess let's jump into the news. Like I said, we actually have some fun things to talk about. We have a lot of sequel announcements, which is kind of crazy. Because I'm like, why are we still doing sequels to movies no one asked for? But we'll get into it. So let's start at the beginning. Actually, this isn't a sequel announcement, but it is something that I predicted a long time ago. So, 150 3D movies will be available to watch on Apple Vision Pro at launch, including No Way Home, Dune, and Avatar: The Way of Water. Disney Plus will also let you watch films in VR from the Scare Floor in Monsters, Inc., the Avengers Tower, and the cockpit of Luke Walker's Landspeeder. To try to translate that for people who may not be into anything tech-related. So Apple just released a product. It's a mixed reality, augmented reality product that's kind of like VR, but it's more about putting virtual items in real space. And Disney is partnering with them to offer immersive mixed reality experiences. I have shown you guys this before. I'm just showing you again what this means specifically. Like, there's basically a bunch of holograms they want to put in your room. So if you want to watch Star Wars, you can watch Star Wars from Tatooine or from inside Luke's cockpit or something like that. This is kind of what this is what I'm showing you right here. So you'd be on some Star Wars planet in a virtual environment. So that's what they're planning. And it looks like that they are moving forward with this plan. They're putting a bunch of 3D movies on Apple Vision Pro that you can use. I actually think this is kind of cool. I don't know. I think this is actually really neat. I'm into this. Can you imagine watching Avatar: The Way of Water while feeling like you're on Pandora? How cool would that be? I mean, watching a Star Wars movie from Tatooine. I mean, I don't know, watching the next Avengers movie from the Avengers Tower or from Wakanda. I don't know. I kind of like this idea. I like the idea of bringing things and making it more immersive for people to enjoy and experience. I don't know how many people are going to get this Apple Vision Pro thing. I think this is more of like a long-term plan for Apple, but I do think there could be some promise to this later on. Anyone interested in this? Anyone would want this kind of device or this kind of experience? Okay, Indominus Rex thinks it's cool. David E says it costs too much. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It does cost $3,500, so it's not cheap. Adrian says it scares you. I mean, it's very futuristic, super futuristic. CD Wood says, yay, a step closer to a dystopian future. I hate this so much. Oh, I'm sorry you hate it. Prototype says, Apple and Disney are offering what? How many children must I sell to afford one? Well, how much does a child cost? Because it costs $3,500. So it seems like some of you are into this, some of you are not. Josh is calling it the Oasis. It kind of is like the Oasis. It's like they're trying to build it. This is the beginning stages of it, I guess. Prototype says, I heard rumors that Disney was trying to merge with Apple. Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen one day. If Disney merges with any company, I think Apple is the most likely just because they already have a history there. I think this is just one step to making that merger happen, to be honest. I'm very curious to see what this turns into. But moving on. So, the Minecraft movie. We keep hearing casting updates for this, and this movie sounds so weird and crazy and campy just from the cast. I'm getting more and more excited for it. So Jennifer Coolidge has been cast in the live-action Minecraft movie. The live-action Minecraft movie, y'all. First of all, I know I keep saying it, but it really should be animated. But I guess if you're going to go with live action, you better get some, like, iconic actors if you're going to do that. And they did that. I mean, look at this cast. Jennifer Coolidge, Jason Momoa, Jack Black, Emma Myers, Danielle Brooks. And that's not it, because they also announced freaking Kate McKinnon and Jameen Clement. I hope I said his name right. I actually like him a lot. He's really funny. Both these actors are really funny. But this cast, man, what is this cast turning into? Like, wow. This cast, look at this. This is the entire cast of the live-action Minecraft movie so far. What is this movie? I have so many questions. Obviously, they must be going for a comedic take because they're casting a lot of comedians. But other than that, I'm still confused about how the world's gonna look. Are they gonna be block people? Like, is Jack Black gonna be a block person? Like, what is this? Scorpio Shadow says, is it just me or is it a waste of money for all of these? Oh no, you're not interested in this? Josh Loves Movie says, Jennifer Coolidge and Kate McKinnon make the Minecraft movie a must-watch for me. Yeah, I mean, honestly, those two names do stand out to me the most. Them and Jason Momoa, because you guys know I love Jason Momoa. So yeah, I think this cast is turning out to be pretty great. I'm still confused because I feel like this is a very, like, eccentric group of actors here. I feel like this movie's going to be very zany and silly and campy. I'm just calling it now. But I kind of think it needs to be given the property. But I'm excited. I like this cast a lot. Oh no, the Free Rocket Man says this is just cash grab the movie. I'm kind of hoping it'll be good. I'm honestly, Jack Black is one of my favorite actors, so him being in it makes me excited. But moving on. So we're also getting an Indiana Jones video game. I've been telling you that there seems to be a merger happening between video games and movies, and just like a really weird space right now where we kind of have tech taking over storytelling. And one of the things that is coming out is there's going to be an Indiana Jones video game later this year. Very interesting, considering the fact that the last Indiana Jones movie flopped horribly. We have talked about it a lot on this channel. I'm wondering if they're thinking, oh, because this is a video game and we don't need to have de-aged Harrison Ford, we can just have the CGI version of him. I'm wondering if they're thinking that will help with the sales of this one. I don't know. But I do have to say, it does sound good. It is a first-person role-playing game. I don't know why it's first-person. I think it looks a little weird first-person. Really, most games do. But I think the graphics look pretty good. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it. Again, if you look at just some of the gameplay here, I really like how it looks. It looks like it could be fun. Again, I don't like that it's first person, though. But I don't know. Do you guys think that this video game has any chance at being a hit? Considering the fact that the last movie didn't do well at all? I'm very, very curious. I honestly don't know. I mean, look at this. You get to swing around with his whip. I mean, it's kind of fun. I don't know. The only thing about it is that it's first person, and I just don't know how I like that. But what do you guys think? Josh Loves Movies says, hopefully this is better than the last two Indiana Jones movies, but that title is way too generic. Yeah, and The Great Circle, that is very generic. That's true. Disney must be desperate. I don't think Disney is producing this, so I don't think this is them. Scorpio Shadow says, it looks good, but I won't be playing it. Okay. Left one, wait. Prince says, I mean, a game is better than a movie at least. Oh, you think games are better than movies? Are you just saying that as a blanket statement, Prince? And Dominus says, indie fans might come out of the woodworks and make it a sneak hit if it's constructed well. How many indie fans are there, though? That's what I'm saying. The last movie didn't do very well. I think all the indie fans are probably about Harrison's age, and I don't think they're playing video games. So we'll see. I think it at least looks interesting. I think it's also interesting that we're getting more of these video game movie crossover events happening. I think that's kind of interesting. But moving on. So some Marvel news. We got some Madam Web news. You guys know that I am unironically coming around on the Madam Web train. The more I'm seeing from the marketing, the more I'm like, you know what? This looks like a campy, fun 2000s throwback movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. I don't know. I'm just hoping it's more fun than Morbius, because I did see Morbius, and I honestly thought the biggest sin that Morbius committed was just being boring. It wasn't even like a fun bad, it was just boring. I'm just hoping, at least if Madam Web is bad, it's like a fun, cheesy bad that's fun to watch, and I'm kind of getting that vibe from the trailer, so I'm like slowly, unexpectedly, like starting to get interested in this movie. Anyone else, by the way, gearing up for Madam Web, or am I all alone? Left one for you says Madam Web trailer looked horrible. You know what? I can't disagree with you. That's the crazy thing. I can't even disagree with you, but I'm still excited. But anyway, apparently, Sony wanted Andrew Garfield to be the Spider-Man in this movie, but they later pivoted because they realized the time period didn't match up. And I brought this up to you guys because I am super confused about what the heck Sony is doing with Spider-Man. How and why was Andrew Garfield going to be a part of this? I'm very confused because they make it seem like, since they wanted to do Tom Holland later, that like Tom and Andrew are part of the same universe and that Tom just like picked it up later. Or were they going to do some multiverse thing where they started off with Andrew and his universe, and then at some point they were going to switch universes to Tom's? I mean, that sounds complicated and overly complex. So I'm confused by this. What do you guys think Sony's plans are with Spider-Man? Because it sounds like they don't even know themselves. Because, like, why was Andrew Garfield going to be in this? Miss Player says this movie is going to get web $1 billion. Okay. It's going to get memed to death, that's for sure. Wait, Editing Geek says, Brittany, did you see the Stranger Things 5 set pics that just dropped? My jaw's on the floor. No, what? Of course there's new set pics after I already started. I'll have to cover them on Monday. Sorry, Editing Geek. The Free Rocket Man says Madam Web will be the movie. I mean, it will be one of the movies of all time, I'm sure. Natanya Molling says, like Twilight, exactly. I'm getting Twilight vibes from this movie. Again, I can't say the first Twilight movie is a masterpiece on like a technical level, but boy, do I love that movie, and it's very entertaining. I'm getting the same vibes from this one. Josh Loves Movie says, what's the point of Madam Web without Spider-Man? What's the point of Kraven the Hunter without Spider-Man? Or Morbius without Spider-Man? Or even Venom without Spider-Man? They're just trying whatever they can to milk Spider-Man even when he's not in the movie. It's so strange. I know Folklore Corner. I much would have rathered a separate Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew rather than just like randomly throw him in one of these other movies. Because it just seems strange, and I think his Spider-Man deserves more respect than that. Even though I didn't care for the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, I thought it was pretty bad. I thought Andrew Garfield himself was still a good Spider-Man. But anyway, moving on. I'm sort of getting excited for this one in a weird way. So Daredevil, speaking of Marvel, Daredevil Born Again is about to start filming soon. And it sounds like this new version of it that they're working on is going to be significantly different than the old version that they were working on. Remember when they said that the Daredevil was going to be 18 episodes, and at least I was like, well, that's a long time. Because imagine 18 episodes. If they only aired one episode a week, that'd be 18 weeks in a row. But what if it's bad? And apparently the original version was bad. That would have been 18 weeks of toxic conversation. So, I'm glad that they're at least trying to change it and alter it and make it better. And then B, I just feel like 18 episodes is maybe a tad bit too much in the first place. So I'm kind of glad that they're going down. I mean, I know seasons used to have like 22 episodes apiece, but I mean, the fact that I feel like personally Marvel hasn't really made many good TV shows. They've made like a handful, like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3. They're very hit and miss with their TV shows. So them trying to do something with 18 episodes, it's like, you're really, hedging your bet that this is going to be the one that's really good and everyone loves, because you don't know that. In 18 episodes, that's a lot that's a lot of room for failure here. So I'm kind of okay if they do wind up with less episodes, but will anyone be disappointed by this? Left on Foria says, I know it did used to be 24 episodes a season. That's true. But Marvel hasn't even really proven that they can, do 10, So I think we got to work with baby steps a little bit. Josh says, you think Daredevil Born Again should be 10 to 12 episodes. Yeah, 18 is way too much. I agree. I think 12 episodes would be a nice sweet spot. 18 is, I think, ridiculous. Prototype says, we've had seasons that are 6 episodes long lately. I welcome a longer season. I do welcome a longer season, but I feel like they're swinging too far in the opposite direction, like they're overcorrecting, because I know people have been critiquing them for having very short seasons. So they went from 6 episodes a season to 18. There's so many numbers in between 6 and 18, and they just, like I said, I think they're overcorrecting in the other direction. But anyway, I'm still very excited for Daredevil. It's one of the few Marvel properties I'm still looking forward to, and I'm really happy that they're trying to turn things around at least. So, also, still speaking of Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio says that the Marvel Netflix shows were officially canonized in the MCU after the Daredevil Born Again creative overhaul. Basically saying once they decided that the first version of the show that they were working on wasn't working, they decided to just completely overhaul the whole thing. And I think, again, I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that it looks like Marvel's at least finally starting to listen to their fans. And I think those shows should have been canonized to begin with. I don't understand the viewpoint or the headspace Marvel must have been at to begin with to think, A, we don't need Foggy and Karen. They weren't going to have them at all, which I think was a mistake. They were going to try to make it tonally different from the original show, which I also think was a mistake. And they weren't even going to say it was officially canon. They were going to try to change certain canon events so it wasn't directly the next season. So it sounds like they're doing away with all of that, and they're finally listening to fans, and they are making Daredevil officially part of the canon and part of the world and all of that, which is great. But it's crazy to me that at any point in the process that they even got done several episodes with this mentality. And I'm I feel like the original version of the show was just doomed to fail. I really do. Miss Player says, it's going to be hard to associate this with Disney brands since the Netflix one is hard R. They are saying they're going to be mature with this show, but because it's on Disney Plus, I just don't know how mature are they going to get? How R-rated is Disney really going to let this show get? Because Echo was, rated mature, but I don't even think it was really that strongly mature. I still don't think even with an R rating, nothing on Disney Plus is ever going to go as hard as something like The Boys or something, just because Disney won't allow it. So we'll see. Moving on though. So again, speaking of more Marvel, we finally have news on She-Hulk season 2, and apparently it is not happening, or at least according to Tatiana Maslany. She said, I don't think so. I think we blew our budget, and Disney was like, no thanks. Well, the budget for this show was $225 million, and I don't think that they got their money back for that at all, especially considering one of the biggest complaints of this entire show was how bad the visual effects were, and how She-Hulk herself didn't even look finished in a lot of scenes, and she was different sizes and different colors across different episodes because that's how messed up the pipeline was behind the scenes. So the fact that they spent $225 million freaking dollars on this show for it to get totally roasted, most fans hated this show. This show was very controversial, and it wasn't even that good. I have seen the show in its entirety, and I don't think it's that great. It just completely missed the mark on a lot of issues. So I'm not surprised that they're not doing a season 2, but it is crazy that it took this long and that they're only blaming the budget, because we all know that also the fan reception has something to do with it. I'm not surprised at all that we're getting a second season. Is anyone surprised? Was anyone looking forward to a season 2? I'm not at all. Josh Loves Movie says She-Hulk budget cost more than the first Avengers movie. What was Marvel thinking? Wow, when you put it like that, Josh, I didn't even realize that. Holy crap. Why was the budget for She-Hulk more than the first Avengers movie? That makes no sense. What? That's crazy. Yeah, this was insane. I feel like this show was only made because Marvel was still in that headspace after Endgame, thinking they could do no wrong. And they just thought, oh, whatever we make, people will watch in spades. And then they found out that's not true. Because there's no other reason or no other way they would have greenlit this unless they just thought they could totally do no wrong. Miss Player says, after seeing her twerking, I don't think people would take this show seriously. Fans really hated that scene. Really, really hated it. Georgie says, Disney had a scene with her and Megan Thee Stallion twerking. Of course it canceled. See, you guys really hate that twerking scene. It just felt really out of tone with the rest of the MCU. Like, can you imagine, like, I keep doing this because the MCU was transformed and changed into something totally crazy and different. But just going back to the first Iron Man movie, the very first one, could you imagine that a She-Hulk twerking scene would be spawned out of that? Like, you couldn't imagine it because they're just so different. Like, it's just funny to me how much things have changed. Oh, hi, Deficit. Thank you for the love. That Super or Subber says, just make a movie at this point if you're going to spend that much on the budget. I think that's why they're turning Armor Wars into a movie, or at least they were at some point. Because Armor Wars, which was going to focus on War Machine, was going to be a Disney Plus show, and then they changed it to a movie. So that's probably why they did that. And probably, speaking of Disney, why they're going to turn the next Mandalorian season into a movie. Because I'm willing to bet, like, it's just too expensive for a show. They can't justify it anymore. But another reason why I think this show got canceled was because, do you guys remember during the strike, Tatiana Maslany was talking mad junk about Bob Iger, like name dropping him publicly. Like, she was not shying away from the fact that she was, like, not happy with Bob Iger specifically. She called him completely out of touch and said that his wealth was outrageous and that he didn't share it with the people. So I could see Bob Iger personally just being like, I don't like her. She talked ill about me. She talked ill about the company. Why would I want to hire her again? So this might not even be about the She-Hulk budget or the reception to the show. This just could be like Bob Iger personally being like, F Tatiana Maslany. Because she was literally calling him out like during the strikes. So I can see maybe Bob and Disney not wanting to work with her after this. So this is another reason why I think She-Hulk season 2 is probably not happening. Do you guys remember when she said this? I was trying to find the video because she actually is on video saying it too, not just a quote. She really said it with her whole chest. Josh says Tatiana spoke facts. Yeah. Prototype says Bobby's feelings were hurt. I mean, it probably were. I mean, between this and that South Park episode, people have been really coming for him. Editing Geek says, wonder if Armor Wars will be a Disney Plus original movie. Doesn't seem theater worthy. I mean, I think they're turning Armor Wars into a movie because they want to send it to theaters and make money. But you're right. I still don't think it seems theater worthy either. It is very embarrassing. David E. said, that's not legal. What do you mean that's not legal? It's not legal to retaliate in this way? Is that what you're saying? I mean, they'll never admit that's why she's not getting hired again, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is why. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So now that Marvel's kind of in this mixed state of upheaval, it seems like a lot of talent is wanting to jump ship or might not even want to sign on, which is what I think happened with Steven Yeun. And one of the biggest pieces of talent that Marvel has, which is Ryan Coogler, who's the director of the Black Panther movies, he's apparently ready to move on from Marvel too, because apparently he's wanting to work with Michael B. Jordan on his own movie that's set to be a genre film. In fact, it's supposed to be a vampire movie and a period film, which Michael B. Jordan as a vampire in a period film? Hello, sign me up. I will definitely watch that. That sounds like totally up my alley. But the fact is, we have Ryan Coogler working on another project that's not Black Panther 3. So that makes me wonder, When are we getting Black Panther 3? Are we getting Black Panther 3 since Black Panther 2 didn't do as well as the first one, and we don't even have, Chadwick Boseman as our Black Panther anymore. So I'm wondering if Ryan Coogler is seeing the writing on the wall and is like, maybe I should go work on my other stuff outside of Marvel, and that's why he's doing this now? I don't know. Either way, this movie does sound interesting to me personally, so I'll watch it. But it does make me wonder about Black Panther 3, because now I'm thinking we're probably not getting that for quite some time. What do you guys think about this? Oh, Josh, that's a good point. This will be competition for Blade. I'm excited for Blade, too. Just something about seeing, black guys as vampires is very interesting to me. It's always, pasty white dudes, so I don't know. Now I'm like, wait a minute. This could be very interesting and different. No offense to any pasty white dudes. I'm just saying I'm not used to seeing, black vampires, Scorpio Shadow says Disney have a girl power problem. Blame it on some of the writers. I mean, Disney has definitely created their own issues. They're driving talent away for a reason. Definitely not having sympathy for Disney here. I'm just curious to see, who else is going to leave? What's the next big director that's going to go work on something else instead? Oh, hi, Shelley Lee. I'm glad to see you here. Jocelyn Wolf says period film is like historical fiction. It's meant to take place in a specific period of history. Yes, that's why I'm very excited for it. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. But anyway, looking forward to this. Looking forward to see what more Ryan Coogler can do outside of the Marvel family. This could be really interesting. So, now going to Star Wars. Now, I feel like this is a developing story, which is why I keep reporting on it, because the director of Godzilla -1 apparently made a huge fan out of Dave Filoni, because he invited him to Lucasfilm for a screening of the movie, and he posted several pictures. The director of Godzilla posted several pictures of him in Lucasfilm and with Dave Filoni here. And I'm bringing this up because, again, the director, Takashi, did say that he was willing to make and wanted to make a Star Wars movie. And I feel like we keep getting all these hints now about Takashi and Star Wars, and the fact that Lucasfilm likes to announce a new movie every 6 to 10 business days makes me think maybe they're going to announce a movie directed by Takashi. I can see it. I don't know if it'll actually get made, because who knows what Lucasfilm movie will actually get made, but I think they can announce it. It seems like maybe they're sowing the seeds. Maybe Dave Filoni had him over at Lucasfilm so he could show him around network or something. I don't know. But I'd be here for it. I'd be very here for it. Prototype says, why would he lose his time with Star Wars? Yeah, there is a part of me that's like, I kind of wish he'd do something like his own thing. But you know what? If you want to get me interested in a Star Wars movie, make him direct it. So I think it could work. Yeah, Free Rocket Man, I totally agree. Star Wars definitely needs a plan first. They need a good script before they even start filming. That Super says, Lucasfilm seems like they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, honestly, everything that Lucasfilm is doing makes it seem like they're scared of their audience and they're afraid of failure. Because that's what these moves suggest to me. Like, they don't really know what the audience wants. So they don't know how to give them what they want. And we have Kathleen Kennedy in charge, who is making decisions to actively spite fans that she doesn't like, which only makes things worse. That's what's going on at Lucasfilm, I think. Yes, that's why I'm looking forward to Francisco. Miss Olsen says, I feel like he can save Star Wars. Me too. That's why I'm like, I feel like they might as well listen to the guy if he's willing to work with them. But anyway, I just hope that this leads to some sort of deal between them, because I would love to see a Takashi-made Star Wars film. Speaking of Star Wars, if the Daisy Ridley Rey movie goes into production and actually gets made, she's going to make $12.5 million from it, which is a huge payday for her, and I think a huge increase from whatever she was paid for The Force Awakens, which I think was like only $1 million or something like that. So good for her. Still don't know if this Rey movie will ever see the light of day, or if it even should. I feel like this Rey movie is a pseudo sequel to the sequel trilogy, And the sequel trilogy was so divisive, I just don't know why you'd want to bring her back and remind everyone of what happened. But anyway, if this movie actually does get made, she's going to make $12.5 million off of it. So good for her. Anyone looking forward to a Rey movie or think it'll actually happen? Oh, you think Jonathan says Star Wars will always be afraid of said failure? Yeah, I think you're right. Kitty Cat says the Rey movie is dead before Arrival to me. I honestly think a Rey movie could make around as much as the Marvels. I think it would be that bad. But I also don't think the Mandalorian movie that they're floating out there would also do very well, just because the last season of The Mandalorian wasn't very good, and not everyone even has Disney Plus. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't really have a lot of faith in any of the currently announced Star Wars movies they have coming out. I think they all could flop. Star Wars is in a very bad place right now. Josh Loves Movies says this Rey movie is doing script rewrites despite it's supposed to be filming this year, and now Rey is set to show up in multiple Star Wars movies. What? I didn't hear about that last part. She's gonna be in multiple Star Wars movies? So is Rey like our new like Nick Fury of the Star Wars universe or something? Why would they want to keep bringing back a character that's so divisive though? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyone like Rey? Anyone like, yeah, bring on the Rey movie? Prototype says, I think it will happen. Doubt it will be good, and I'm not sure it's gonna make its money back. So Prototype's like, yeah, it's happening, but it's not making money. Which is kind of where I'm at this point too. I think it is gonna happen, but I don't know how successful it's gonna be. But moving on to the next topic. Speaking of things that confuse me, we're still getting a Peacemaker season 2. Apparently, James Gunn says he has only the finale of Peacemaker Season 2 left to write, and then he's done. So, I'm confused, because I'm like, why? I thought we were rebooting the DC Universe. I know he said he wanted to keep some people, but are we really keeping the entire Peacemaker crew? And if we're keeping the entire Peacemaker crew, does that mean we're also keeping the entire Suicide Squad? So basically, any character that you worked with personally gets to stay, but everyone else has to leave. And if we're keeping the Suicide Squad version that James Gunn worked with, does that mean Margot Robbie is still Harley Quinn? But didn't she just say that she was ready for Lady Gaga to take that mantle? This is why I'm so confused. This reboot that James Gunn wants to do is already super messy to me and doesn't make any sense. And it just sounds like he just wants to keep his favorites. And that's not really how you run a business or how you run like a studio. I don't know. This confuses me. Anyone excited for Peacemaker season 2? Anyone think that like, I don't know, DC is doing the right thing? Anyone okay with this? Josh Loves Movies says Peacemaker season 2 and Waller are both connected. So how is this going to connect to Superman Legacy? Your guess is as good as mine, Josh. I have no idea. And I love me some Viola Davis. Love Viola Davis. But she does not need a Amanda Waller show. There does not need to be a Waller show. That is the very definition of content. Just making something to have someone watch it. Scorpio Shadow says, I do have faith in Star Wars. I mean, we got Andor, and honestly, one of my favorite Star Wars shows. Okay, I'm glad you still have faith in Star Wars. It's not completely gone. That Super says, basically, it's whatever Gunn wants, and DC is desperate. Yeah, this is not the DC universe. This is DC's James Gunn and Friends universe. That's kind of what it's looking like to me, at least. Because it's like, I don't have anything against John Cena, but like, why? Just why? I really feel like we need to be making a very clean break with DC. This soft reboot stuff, I think, is going to make it very complicated for normies to be able to understand what's different about James Gunn's new universe. And he needs to make it crystal clear how his new universe is different, since general audiences don't like the DCEU. And I just feel like he's not going to make that difference clear enough. And the general audiences are still not going to care, even when Superman Legacy comes out. So that's what I'm thinking. Colby B says he's being a fanboy, not a businessman. Yeah, I can see that. Prototype says Marvel and DC need to understand you don't need a whole show for every popular character. Exactly. Some characters are good as sidekicks, and then when you try to make them a main character, that you ruin them. It happens all the time, and I feel like Hollywood never learns that lesson. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. Speaking of learning lessons and things we don't need, we might be getting a Polar Express 2? What? Now, I love the first Polar Express, as creepy and uncanny as it is. The first Polar Express is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I didn't watch it this past Christmas, but I usually watch this movie like almost every Christmas year. I really, really love it. But a sequel, I don't know about that. Now, if they do a sequel where maybe the kids are all adults and maybe they have kids now, and like maybe the boy wants to take his kid to Christmas land with him or something. I don't know. But I just feel like this is a classic for a reason. I'm a little bit hesitant about them trying to make a sequel to capitalize off of that, just because I don't know if it's going to strike the same chord. But I don't know. Anyone interested in a Polar Express sequel? Nicholas Wilson says Polar Express is a classic horror movie. It is a horror. Well, it's not a horror movie, but it is creepy. It is very creepy and uncanny. But I kind of like that. I kind of like it. No. Okay, Kitty Cat is saying no. Miss Olsen's saying WTF, no. Baz Banter, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Monster House sequel. You know what? A Monster House sequel. I don't know how many people would watch that, but I'd be curious. Josh Loves Movie says, I'd rather have an animated sequel to the Polar Express than a live action remake. That's true. That's very true. They could have gone with the live action remake of this instead of doing a sequel, so I'm happy with that. And also, because the first Polar Express was the first to really do the whole motion capture thing, or one of the first, I'm wondering if like they'll do motion capture again, but then maybe this time it'll actually be good. And so we can kind of compare and contrast the old animation to the new animation. That could also be interesting. Because part of what makes the movie so uncanny is because it was one of the first movies to experiment with motion capture. So they hadn't really got it completely like nailed down yet. And that's why a lot of their eyes look really dead, because they didn't know how to like put life in your eyes yet. So that's why it feels creepy. I wonder if they're going to do that again. Also, good for Josh Hutcherson. He's having a bit of a career renaissance with the Five Nights at Freddy's. And then there's a lot of memes about him online lately, I think because the new Hunger Games movie came back. And then this, because Josh Hutcherson was in the original Polar Express movie. So if they do the sequel, maybe they'll have him back. So good for Josh Hutcherson. Anyone going to watch this sequel to Polar Express? Anyone looking forward to it? Scorpio Shadow says, or maybe a prequel, like How the Train Got Made. I don't know. I don't know about a prequel. I'd rather have a sequel, honestly. Okay, Free Rocket Man wants a 10/10 sequel. Maybe. I feel like everything's going to get a sequel eventually. Francisco says, no, I think they should have ended in season 1. Are you talking about Peacemaker? Webslinger says, I would like a Polar Express remastered with better animation. Uncanny Valley hits too hard. You know what? That would be nice. They should do a remastered version of that with better animation. I feel like people would actually buy that. Because, like, for example, my dad, he refuses to watch this movie because he thinks it's too creepy. He says it gives him the heebie-jeebies. He doesn't like this movie. So I feel like if they took the creepy factor out of it, maybe more people would watch it. I don't know. That's a good idea. But anyway, moving on to the next topic, because we also have to talk about another thing that's getting rebooted and brought back, which is, of course, Wizards of Waverly Place. It says the series will pick up after a mysterious incident at WizTech, where an adult Justin Russo has left his wizard powers behind, opting for a normal human life with his wife and 2 sons. Interesting. I feel like they're maybe trying to go the iCarly route here because, you know, Max did reboot iCarly. Now, this show, I have seen a few episodes, but this was never one of my favorite shows as a kid. I liked iCarly a lot more. I think at this point I was watching more Nickelodeon or something. I liked like Hannah Montana, that sort of thing. For whatever reason, I could never get into this show. So I'm happy for all of the fans who were into it, but I never watched it. They have said, apparently, according to David Deluy, I think that's how you say it. He says that OG cast members will apparently all be coming back. They're just waiting to, get the official pickup, which could be interesting. And then apparently the show will focus on David as Justin, so not Selena's character. I guess Selena is just coming back to have the whole reunion aspect, because it doesn't seem like it's going to focus on her at all. It's going to focus on her brother. So, I don't know. It's very interesting. Do you guys think this has a chance to do well? Do you think it'll do better than the iCarly reboot? What do you guys think about this? Aaliyah says, I like this show, but it wasn't my fave. Will the dad and Harper be a part of it? Well, apparently they're still calling people back, so who knows? I hope they are. Colby B says, it's always the kids of the original. I'm starting to get tired of this plot. I know, because I actually tried to watch, because I also used to watch That's So Raven. I brought back That's So Raven as well on Disney Channel. Because I used to be such a big fan of the show, I actually did try to watch the reboot of That's So Raven. And they did that in that show too. They made Raven a mom, and it was about the kids, and I was just like, why are they doing this every single time? Like, I want to know about their adult lives, not their kids. Like, I feel like if you're aiming these shows for the kids that watched them younger, like when we were, ages ago, you should be aiming them for, adults now. I guess that's what, what's her name? The girl that played Hillary Duff. I guess that's what Hillary Duff wanted to do with her Lizzie McGuire reboot. She wanted to aim it more for the adults who watched it as a kid. Because, I don't know. I feel like, why are we going to make this show about the kids, or is it going to be about Justin? I'm not sure. Miss Olsen says you're not going to watch it. Okay. Paul Martin says they tried to bring back Girls Meets World. That's true. Did that show do well? I never watched it. Oh, Kitty Cat, you think this is dead on arrival? I don't know. This show was very popular in its prime. I feel like this show was popular at the same time that, like, Disney Channel was at its peak in the 2000s. So a lot of people did watch this show back in the day. I just don't know how many people are going to show up again for it now. Because the iCarly reboot did okay, and iCarly was also very popular. Also, I feel like if they're going to be bringing back a lot of these favorite childhood shows, I feel like it's a matter of days before we hear about a Victorious reboot or something. Maybe Ariana Grande will come back. Wouldn't that be funny? Or at least it's just funny to me. But anyway, what other shows would you guys want to come back now that I guess they're rebooting things from our childhood, or my childhood? Okay, Natanya wants a Good Luck Charlie reboot. Okay. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. She does kind of look like Jenna Ortega. That's a good point. Editing Geek agrees. You just want it to be about the grown-up cast. I agree. Just waiting for the Family Matters reboot. Oh man, that's a throwback. Didn't they try an Urkel spin-off show or something like that? Olden says, if they're taking out the magic completely, I'm not interested. Love the OG, by the way. I hope they're not completely taking out the magic. That'd be kind of dumb, because that was the whole point of the show. Okay, a lot of you guys are not interested. Interesting. Editing Geek says Hannah Montana for sure. You know what? If they had a Hannah Montana reboot and they actually brought back Miley Cyrus, I think that would do really, really well, like huge numbers. Especially since, as I saw this quote on social media a while ago, and it made me laugh because it was very accurate. But in the 2000s, I swear it was like Miley Cyrus was the Beyonce of Disney Channel. Because it's true. Hannah Montana was a huge deal. I think if they brought back that show with Miley Cyrus, I think that could do very well. Okay, Josh wants a Kim Possible revival. I could see that. Oh, a Kim Possible revival, and it's on Disney Plus. I would actually watch that. They should do that. Do you guys remember, I don't know if how old anyone was in this chat or anyone watched this show as a kid, but do you guys remember the show, Life with Derek? It was a show that aired on Disney Channel for a couple of years. I just brought that show up because It's a very extremely problematic premise that I just remembered the show recently, and I was just like, why were we watching that show? The show is strange. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it was like, this is a side conversation, but it was about like these two step siblings who were always super jealous of each other and like jealous of who the other person was dating. It was like they were brother and sister, but like there was like this weird tension between them. And I just thought about this show recently, and I was just like, why was Disney Channel airing that? Does anyone know this show? Life with what is the show called again? Life with Derek. Does anyone am I reminding you guys of this show at all? Has anyone heard of this? I don't think we should bring that show back. I'm gonna say no. But yeah, any of these other shows. Oh yeah, Phil of the Future. I would love a Phil of the Future show. That'd be cool. Drake and Josh. I don't know if we can do Drake and Josh because it seems like Drake has gone off the deep end. But we can have a Josh show. Love a Josh show. Anyway, we've gone off the deep end. I do have a WTF news because I haven't had WTF news in a long time. So I wanted to share you guys with WTF news. It's about Snoop Dogg. I don't know why I keep having so many WTF news about Snoop Dogg, but I've got that this time. Okay, CD Woods, you remember what I was talking about. Okay, Jessica H, you do. Okay, so I'm not just me. I'm like, does anyone else remember this show? But anyway, getting to WTF news. So, apparently OnlyFans wanted Snoop Dogg to make an account, and they were saying to him that he could have made like $100 million if they just apparently, quote, pulled that thing out. But he said no, because he says, I've got a black wife. Ain't no way in the world she's gonna allow me to go there. So I thought that was funny. Definitely WTF news, because I can't imagine Snoop Dogg going on OnlyFans. That would be crazy. I think that would be insane. Although I feel like we are slowly heading towards a world where celebrities are going to be on there eventually. But anyway, I wonder who's going to be the first major celebrity to do it. But I just thought this was funny. And the fact that he's blaming it on his wife, he's like, I couldn't do it. My wife would never have allowed me. That's a good man. That's a good man. But anyway, I thought this was pretty funny. I know it is WTF, right? This is the perfect WTF news. I'm glad. I'm very happy with the reaction in this chat. This is exactly what I have WTF news for. But anyway, that's it. That's the news. That's all I really had to share. I thought it was funny. So I'm gonna answer a few questions until the end of the stream. I want to do this until 2:30. So for the next 6 minutes, next 5-6 minutes or so, I'll answer you guys' questions. It can be about what we talked about today, anything about the channel or anything. Just ask away. I have not watched the film The Peasants. I haven't heard of it either. Maybe I'll look it up. I know, right? Why did they say pull that thing out? Like, was the CEO, like, who was at OnlyFans saying, like, you know, Snoop Dogg, if you pull that thing out. Like, who was saying that to him? It's so weird. Any questions? You still want a Kim Possible reboot? I think a Kim Possible reboot will do really well, yeah. What do you think about the live-action Danny Phantom movie in the works at Paramount? What? How did I miss this? There's a live-action Danny Phantom movie? How would that work? I love Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was also one of my favorite shows as a kid. But the budget's going to have to be pretty high, right? Like, there's a lot of CGI that would need to be involved, right? I mean, I'm curious to see if they'll make that movie work and why they chose Danny Phantom specifically, but I'm curious to see. At least I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. I have not watched the Percy Jackson show, sorry. I have heard about the battle between Nelson Peltz and Bob Iger. I haven't been talking about it on my channel because it's so technical and it's so like inside baseball when it comes to business stuff that I feel like I don't know if you guys would be totally interested in the weeds of it, and B, I don't know if I'm totally qualified to even cover it. So, but yeah, there is a proxy battle happening amongst the executives at Disney. It does look like there are people in the board, or not even on the board, but just activist investors who want more say on what Disney does, and they're trying to challenge Bob Iger's rule. And Nelson Peltz is one of the main guys doing that. So very curious to see what happens in that outcome. Once we get an outcome to that, I will let you guys know. Because if they somehow get themselves on the board or get Bob Iger fired, that will be major news. Adrian says, do you think will be Walt Disney Animation film this year? Well, they moved. Do they have a film coming out this year at Disney Animation? Because I know Pixar has Inside Out 2. I don't know if Disney Animation has a movie this year. Honestly, I think Disney Animation either A, should go back to hand-drawn, at least for one movie, or B, I think they need to stop being so safe and really swing for the fences with a great story. And I think maybe instead of coming up with a story on their own, I think they need to take from literature again to really go, like, base it off of someone else's story. I think they really do well when they do that. Okay, Francisco agrees. Life with Derek was extremely problematic. Hero Jonathan Majors get between me and says, did you see the memes about how Jonathan Majors told his girlfriend you need to be more like Coretta Scott King? Yeah, he has a very weird civil rights, I almost want to say fetish or something. I don't know. Even down to how he dresses. It's like he's obsessed with the civil rights era. He's obsessed with MLK and Coretta Scott King. He's obsessed with even dressing like he's a paper boy in the 60s. I don't know. Very weird dude. Frieza, your grandma has an OnlyFans? What? Interesting discussion. Scorpio Shadow says, I need a dark Disney 2D mixed 3D animated movie. You want a dark movie? I don't know how dark Disney will go these days, but they try to do a 3D mix with 2D and Wish, and it just didn't work out well. I'll take one more question, and that'll be it for today, and then I'll see you guys on Monday. So I'm not starting on Sunday yet. Next live stream will actually be on Monday. Regular time. Any plans to react to My Hero Academia? Probably not. I don't watch My Hero Academia. Although I hear great things about it. I know I should watch it, but I probably won't be reacting to that. But anyway, that's it. Again, I will see you guys on Monday. That'll be great. Thank you all for coming to the show today. Bye.